Hey guys! Okay, so as you can probably tell by the title, I'm going to be talking about Aku no Hana, the new series by Zex, but before I start, I need to preface it with something. The opinions are my own. It's just my opinion on this show, and posters popping up everywhere. So if you don't agree with them, it's just because your opinion's different, not because anyone's wrong here. Second, I know the lighting's a bit weird. It's super overcast today. England. So let's talk about it. Aku no Hana, or Flower of Evil in English, is created by Studio Zex, who have made shows before such as Legend of the Legendary Heroes, Chrome-Shelled Regios, and more recently Cuticle Detective Inaba and Tsukite Inayo. It's going to run for about 13 episodes this season, and there's a lot of mixed reactions and controversy around it. Let's be honest. So the story follows that of Takao Kasuga. He's a boy who loves reading and is totally enamoured by one of his classmates, Seiki. Seiki? Is that her name? Seiki. Don't speak Japanese. And he often refers to her as his muse. One day he accidentally leaves his book in the classroom, and on some sort of crazy mental only would happen in anime thing happens, he decides to, on an impulse, steal her gym clothes. So it gets out around school that there's some weirdo that's stolen her gym clothes, and he's kind of feeling very guilty about this. He's feeling very ashamed. But there is one girl who saw him do it, who is Nakamura, and she, from what I understand, kind of blackmails him into, I don't know, controlling his life. Basically, she just starts controlling his life, and that is the story of Aku no Hana. Straight away, I can tell you that the pacing on this show is pretty slow, because pretty much none of that stuff happens in the first episode. There just wasn't a lot that happened in the first episode, I have to be honest, but that's not what everyone's talking about, let's be realistic. It did leave a very strange first impression on me because it's very atmospheric, and it did make me feel a bit uneasy, intrigues me and things like that. But in the first episode it made me care about absolutely none of the characters. The only one who felt like they had personality was Nakamura, and she just came across as rude and weird and creepy. Because I guess that's what her character's supposed to be, but she was the only one who actually felt like she had a bit of personality, like no one else seemed to. I'm sure they're doing this for a reason. I'm sure that the reason that they're making the protagonist and all the other characters super realistic is because it's a psychological show. When the characters are a bit more realistic, it makes it a bit more uneasy for people to, you know, watch, because they can kind of relate to this guy or whatever. That's my opinions on the characters anyway. Now we need to talk about the big section in this, being the art. So from modern day anime you would probably expect a really, you know, crisp, clean art style, all that sort of stuff, but Aku no Hana sort of went the complete opposite way with doing something called rotoscoping. This has been used in like media before, most notably for me, A Scanner Darkly was actually made through rotoscoping, and this anime has been made like that. So for those of you who don't know what that is, really briefly, it's when animators will basically trace over a live action piece frame by frame to make this. It definitely tries to do something different, I will say that, I will praise it for that to be honest, but it doesn't do it very well. It feels cheap. It feels like it was rushed and it feels cheap. There was one scene in particular that really, like, got to me, because we'll talk about backgrounds in a second, but what got to me the most was the fact that none of the background characters move, apparently, because there was this one scene where there's basically just this girl smiling but not moving. She's staying in like the same position for the entire scene, and it's really, really immersion breaking. That was one of the main flaws with this art style that stuck out to me, to be honest. The frames seem a bit low. The faces weren't all that detailed for how much I'd heard about how detailed the faces were. Let's talk about the good points with the art style, because they're actually awesome. The backgrounds, although they're reused quite a lot, are awesome. They're really well done, really well detailed, really well shaded. They just look good. And the other positive that I could think of that maybe not a lot of people have realised is that the characters, because of the art style, actually kind of feel like they're Japanese. I know, anime, all the characters are probably Japanese apart from that American exchange student or whatever, but they never feel Japanese aside from the fact that they're speaking Japanese, to me personally. So I like the fact that the characters actually had this feeling of being Japanese, which was cool. I feel like this would have worked a lot better if they'd had a bigger budget for this, or maybe just put all their budget into doing a film or something. It felt different, and I will praise it for that. Like I said, I think it's really intriguing and interesting that they're trying something different, which Lord knows we need in the anime industry. because everything is so samey nowadays. So they tried something different, and maybe it didn't work as well as it could have because they maybe didn't have the budget for it. To be honest, I didn't mind the art style. It was immersion breaking at points, which is the thing that bothers me the most, but honestly, it wasn't as bad as everyone else in the world seemed to be making it out to be. The problem is, I have to go about saying whether I would recommend it, whether I'm going to carry on watching it. Definitely going to carry on watching the show because the plot has intrigued me enough, and I've always said that if an art style isn't my thing, it doesn't really bother me that much. Like, I can be like, okay, I wish it looked different, but it's not going to turn me off watching the show because the story is always the most important bit to me, and motorbike. But I know a lot of other people really have to have a good art style to get immersed in the show or whatever. It doesn't matter to me, so if you want to try a different art style, see if you like it, then maybe go and watch this show. If you don't think you're ready for rotoscoping in your anime, maybe don't watch it, maybe go and watch something else. I'm gonna do a final impression on this one when it finishes because I want to see my thoughts now compared to what they will be in like 12 episodes time. I've only watched the first episode so far because I wanted to make a genuine first impression, so I know YouTube quite well, and I know that there's probably going to be a lot of arguments or whatever, so if you have something positive or negative to say about this show, leave it down below, but please respect other people's opinions. If you don't like a show when they do, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So if you want to leave your feelings on this show down below in the comments, feel free to, because I'm super interested in hearing what you guys think about it. But until next time, take care, and I will see you guys soon.